he's gonna get a koi pond in his backyard for you. Wow. Oh, careful.
Never. That's it. How dare you? Unbelievable.
Just need to go. Up here is it? Okay.
Very good.
Thank you. Do we need any salt, pepper, condiments?
No.
So we got up there and then so interesting. It was but the best cheap seats on the so that was really great. And then the next night they were all okay, go back.
Take 2 minutes, I'm gonna need them though later.
У нас опять нет фотографий. У нас единственная фотография хорошая, которая есть.
Kind of feels the same way. He was just, stand out. It's to some extent just like this towel. They kind of think like Skinner was, but Harry was maybe something like that. But I think it would be interesting because tell the girl, the people that I'm really the only person that knows Donald and also really knows, his whole development, his progression, and what influences there were in his life and whatever. I'm not sure it's not a young child, but even
Guys, there's a table inside now. Do you want it?
maybe older, 30.